Apartment 6 podcast. I'm Jess.
And I'm Marissa.
And today we're going to be talking about taking a break from social media and from dating apps if you don't consider those social media, although we're going to be talking about whether or not we consider them to be social media in the way that we use them. But first, we'll jump right into our roses and thorns. So Marissa, what's your thorn of the week?
My thorn of the week is, it comes from a good thing, which is that I've found a new YouTuber to watch. Her name is Gabby Whiten, and I really like her, but I do this thing when I find a new YouTuber who doesn't have like a ton of archived videos, where I watch all of their videos from the first one that's on their channel. So I've been watching her videos since she moved to New York City in 2018. So I'm currently watching her like explore the city and like have all these adventures and like go to restaurants and whatever. And then like on the one hand, it's nice like escapism and like a good reminder of like what normal life is like. But on the other hand, and the reason it's my thorn, is that it's really making me like, it's making me very aware of how little I'm able to do. Because I'm like, man, like it's so nice to go to a new restaurant and have an adventure and blah, blah, blah. So it just like reminds me of the fact that I haven't done that in almost a year now, which is sad.
It's been a long time.
I know. And I also was in New York almost a year ago. So like some of the places that she is going to are places that I was standing a year ago.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's so sad. It's a first world problem, but
it's a champagne problem.
It's a champagne problem, but yeah, it's just sad not to be able to have adventures. What is your thorn?
I don't really have like a concrete thing that really stands out to me about this week. I feel like I had one of those weeks where I just was sort of like, I had moments where I felt frustrated or moments where I felt like discouraged, and like the feelings kind of stand out, but there's not like a defining thorn. But I guess if I had to pin a thorn to something, one of the things that was really frustrating me this week, for some reason this week in particular, is just like feeling so tired in the morning and feeling like I don't have a good enough night routine, and just feeling frustrated with myself and with my body that as I yawn feeling frustrated with myself and with my body that I feel like I need more sleep than I should need, and I feel like I get plenty of sleep but it doesn't feel like enough. And you know, I struggle to wake up for work still, even though it's like later than I had to wake up when I had to go into the office. And I don't know why, but like my body's natural sleeping thing is like to stay up until like midnight and then to sleep until like 11 a.m. And I don't like, so like anything other than that is like a conscious effort and like a force. So like I'll get into bed at like 10:30, 11, and I like will stay up until like 11:30, 12. And then, you know, I'll wake up, but it's like I don't know, I struggle to get myself to, if I don't have to technically be awake yet, I won't wake up well. Like I keep hitting snooze on my alarm until I like have to be awake to be in work.
Yeah, and that's like a hard one to like research like tips for, I feel like, because I feel like there's so much content out there about falling asleep and like having trouble falling asleep, but I've never seen an article about like
how to wake up
better. Yeah
So like there are products out there, like there's like this like alarm clock that wakes you up with light, so it's supposed to mimic the sun. Here's the thing though, I don't have blackout curtains. I have black shades that are supposed to sort of like keep my room darker,
light filtering maybe. Yeah,
right. But so like I get like when I wake up, like it is light in my room, so it's not like that's like I don't like a lamp like that like wouldn't help because it's not dark enough in my room for the like I get that already from the sun. So it's not that. But I've been like this literally since middle school. I remember I used to like get up early in elementary school when my brother was like in middle school, so he had to be up earlier than me, and I used to get up early like with him, and it would drive him nuts because he was like, go to bed, you can be sleeping. And then as soon as I hit middle school, I could not get up early, like without it being like a struggle, like running to the bus every morning. And I've never shaken it. It's just in me. Like I am just tired, and not even just tired, but like it's not, because it's not even necessarily, again, I get like a lot of sleep at night, but it's like I am on a different timeline, I guess. Like I don't think it matters if I go to bed really early. It's like my body still wants me to sleep until 11.
Yeah, well, I think that's definitely a thing where like your body gets wired a certain way, because like I also have that, just with a different time. Like for me, no matter what time I go to bed, I wake up around 9.
Right.
So that's like when my body wakes me up. So I think everyone probably has that, but it's just a matter of like the way that their routine is with like work or school or whatever, if they can honor that.
Do you struggle to wake up though? Like when are you the type of person like your alarm clock goes off once and you like shut it off and get up?
Yeah, because I kind of struggle to go back to sleep.
Right.
Like even if I want to, like if I happen to like, I guess it wouldn't be an alarm clock case, but like if I wake up at like 8:30 on a Sunday and I'm like, I don't want to be up at 8:30 on a Sunday, I want to go back to sleep, I will try to, and then I can't.
So so what I'm hearing from you is your alarm goes off once and it wakes you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't wake me up. That's the thing. I shut my alarm off in my, like I don't physically feel like, I don't feel very conscious of it.
Yeah.
That's like the problem, is that like I'm not someone who like my alarm goes off once and I am like mentally cognizant enough to be like, I should get up now. But I'll like have those thoughts, but it's like my body is physically so tired that like the idea of I don't actually feel awake.
Well, we've talked about like if you don't have to, it's really hard to.
Right.
Like if you were going into work, you'd be fine, you know? Like it's
Yeah,
not
I
like
mean,
you're someone who like has been fired from jobs because you don't show up. Like
no, that's what's funny. It's like if but even then it's like I push it. So then it's like it's not 9:00, you know, for working from home. It's, you know, 7:30 in order to be able to get on the team. And I push it that extra, all of a sudden it's 7:45, because I learn as I do the routine, oh, I don't actually need that much time.
Yeah.
I don't need that much time if I forego makeup, or if I, you know, am not going to get a coffee before, or like, you know, whatever. Right. So it's like I push my limits, and I have always been like that. It drives me up a wall. It's one of the most annoying things about me, to me only. But that's all going to change tonight.
Tonight's the night.
Because I have a book and I'm going to read myself to sleep.
Because I have a book.
Anyway, that was the longest tangent for a Thorn. But
no, it's great.
It feels good to get that off my chest. If anyone is listening to this and can relate to that, and also has helpful things to say about it, or non-helpful things, like if you just want to vent, that's fine too. But please let me know, because sometimes I feel like crap about myself because of it. And just like help me not feel like crap. And like also let me know if you have tips. And like also like maybe I should just try the thing where I put my phone across the room. But I never want to do that.
That's a
because then I have to like move, like, because the other thing is like I don't want to annoy you. So like if my alarm I mean you should already be awake anyway. But if like my alarm's going off across the room and I don't get up. But here's the real kicker.
I guess it would encourage you to get up.
But here's the real kicker though. Here's the absolute kicker. I have gotten up before, grabbed my laptop from my desk, put it on my bed, and fallen back asleep. 100%.
I even feel like I've done that sometimes.
So like me getting up doesn't mean I'm going to be awake. Like me physically getting out of bed like does not mean that I'm awake. True. It means that I just was able to levitate my body.
Yeah, I wonder if I actually, speaking of Gabby Whiten, who I've been watching, she had a morning routine video, and she literally did say that when she gets up, she makes her bed right away because then she can't go back in it and sleep.
That's so interesting because that also tells me that like other people do have the mental capacity to do things like that when they first get out of bed.
Yeah.
Like here's the thing about me getting up and like grabbing my laptop. Like I barely remember doing it when it happened. So like I can't like imagine me looking at my bed and being like, time to make that, because I feel like I'm not actually alive.
You're not cognizant. Yeah.
But I did hear a YouTuber we like to watch, Jessica Braun. She's has like a thing that she does where like she counts down backwards from 5.
Oh yeah.
And I tried that once and it worked.
Huh.
Like you have to like tell yourself, like I remember being like, okay, tomorrow morning I'm gonna do this, because you could forget because you're just like tired. But I did. I remember I tried it one day. I heard my alarm and I was like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, sit up.
Yeah.
And then I like sat up because I was like, I can do it.
Maybe even the act of counting helps to wake you up because it's like something for your brain to do.
Yeah. I also have tried it and like not gotten up, but like I tried it and
hits
did
and
once,
misses.
So. All right, what's your rose of the week now that I've brought us like 10 minutes into the podcast?
Okay. My rose is that today I ordered a pair of earrings on the Madewell website.
Oh my gosh.
And when I was checking out, I saw that I had $10 in rewards.
Wow.
Which I had no idea. I don't know how I got it. I don't know what you need to do.
I think it means you spent a lot of money.
Yeah, I've never gotten rewards from there. So it must be like the past year or something. So basically, for $10, I got a pair of earrings to ship because it's free shipping too.
Oh.
So.
Wait, so the earrings were $10?
They were $20. So then they were $10 and the shipping was free. So I just had to pay $10 for a pair of Madewell earrings. I was so happy.
So that's the rose like itself, right?
Yeah.
Is the earrings? Okay.
That's
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's
just because, anytime you like make a purchase where you like don't really need it, but you just like want it, you're always kind of like,
you want it to be cheap and you want it for free shipping.
Yeah, so then like me being at the checkout window, like, should I check out? Should I get these earrings? I don't really need them, but I want them. Then seeing the $10 reward, I was like, oh my gosh, it's meant to be. I should get the earrings.
Were you just like perusing the website and found something you liked, or have you like had your eye on those? Like how did those come about?
I've had my eye on a different finish of a pair of hoops that I already own. So they have like the small size, I think they're called like the small chunky hoops, and they're just like the best basic everyday gold hoop, but I have them in like it's called vintage gold, so it's like a matte gold, and I wanted them in shiny gold.
Oh,
it's a little bling bling, a little sparkle.
Yeah. Are you wearing them right now?
Right now I'm wearing the mini chunky hoop. So there's a mini and there's a small.
So are these very different from your Missouri shiny gold?
Yes, because my Missouri ones earring tour.
You have a lot of gold hoops.
I know.
Now that I think about it.
I'm like obsessed. My Missouri ones are Huggies. So they just like they don't hang any, like they're even smaller than these mini ones that I'm wearing now. They just like hug to my ear. But the ones I got today are like, you can tell it's like a bigger hoop.
Got it.
But anyway, what's your rose?
Now I don't even know. Probably I've got some Target things. I'll make mine about, I was thinking about having them be like my Target purchases and then you said it. So
consumerism roses.
Yeah, I just like got things that I just like pulled the trigger, like I just like was in Target and was like, I want these things.
I want it.
And I will get them. Yeah, I got like a planner for the year because I'm taking on some more responsibility at work. And so I feel like what I've been using is like okay. It's like a Monday through Friday, just like kind of like a, what would you call it's like a pad of paper.
Nope. Pad, yeah.
Like a giant Post-it note almost, but not sticky. And it just like has like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and like no dates attached. And so I've just like been writing to-do lists on those. But I'm always like writing super tiny and whatnot. And I found a planner that just like had a good format that I liked and that I felt like would be helpful now that I'm going to be in like a manager position. So I can kind of be like, here's what my writer is working on and here's what I'm working on and like my to-do list for today, but then also like things that are happening today. So like meetings and like things like that. And I also got a 32 pack of Papermate pen markers, not for the planner or for anything related to that, but because for Christmas I got a new coloring book that's flowers, and I do have a lot of markers and whatnot, but I go through the same kinds of colors like really fast, like green, because I really like to do I like flowers, like, so foliage. I also have like a jungle themed coloring book, and so greens I go through really fast, and like pinks and reds because I'm doing flowers. So I just like got a 32 pack of pens and I'm really excited about them.
Yeah, it's the type of thing where like if you go into Target and you're like, I really need to restrict myself, I really am not going to spend money today, you might want that and not get it. But if you're like making a Target trip where you're like, I'm going to get some stuff today, then you'll get it.
Yeah, it's like all I really needed was body wash. But I was like, I'm always thinking about how I need to get some new markers, and I never do. I never like want to like splurge and get the 32 pack for $30. But like yesterday I was just like, that's what's happening, man.
Yep.
So I'm excited. Okay, let's hop into our topic.
Yeah. So we've had social media kind of as a general concept on our like idea list for a while now, but I think it's kind of felt like too general where we maybe weren't quite sure like where to dive in on it. And so over the holidays, we found the specific point.
Marissa found the specific point.
True. To dive into, which is social media breaks, meaning like for a certain set amount of time or indefinitely or whatever it is, you basically just choose to stop using social media.
Yeah.
So I did this over the holidays. Specifically, I wanted to do it over New Year's because I was seeing, I guess I wasn't seeing it yet, but I knew it was coming because like I took my break before the New Year, so I couldn't have seen too much of it, but I knew there was going to be an impending amount of content about like, thank God 2020 is over. Like, that was an awful year. Like, let's leave it behind and start anew in 2021. Like, thank goodness this year is over. Like, that kind of stuff.
You know what's ironic about that, too, is because people were, like, expecting people to do that. And so they tried to do the opposite and be like, I'm not going to say it. But in the same way, they were still being annoying.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, it was just as annoying to see that. No offense to any of you that did that. Mm-hmm. I just found it annoying. Like, basically, people mentioning 2020 annoys me in general at this point. I'm just so fatigued by it that whenever people are, like, something happens, people are like, classic 2020. I'm like... Yeah. Haha.
And again, like you said, if you did it, it's totally fine. I know it's a coping mechanism for some people, but for me, it was not coming across that way. It was feeling like a lack of coping, whatever the opposite of a coping mechanism is. It was making things worse for me in my head.
Do you feel this pressure? Sorry. I know I was like, I'm going to be quiet this episode because you have more things to say than I do.
Okay.
Do you feel this pressure to like have like a hot take or have like thoughts on something, like fully formed thoughts on something, like say like a new year? Because I feel like I get this pressure to have like this like cohesive, like nice, like full circle thought or feeling or like whatever at the end of something or at the beginning of something. And it's like, I think that's what stresses me out about social media around the new year, is that I'm like, sometimes I don't want to feel like I have to be prolific or like anything. I just want to like live as if it's another day.
True.
And it's like social media can make things like, you know, like events hard to just like live like it's any other day.
Yeah, because that was my whole thing. Like, I was like, guys, it's gonna just be another day. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't want to have any sort of hope that like the calendar would turn and life would be better. Oh my God, someone just
it was a sneeze.
I can't. I have to like acknowledge it. Someone just sneezed so loud. In a neighboring building. In
a neighboring apartment. Imagine if someone in like a building,
someone a mile away just sneezed really loudly, you guys, and we heard it.
It's like the person across the hall, but
oh my God, it was so loud. Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to really like remind myself and not fool myself into thinking otherwise that nothing would change when the year changed. And I had been thinking about trying out the social media break thing for a while. So I was like, this feels like a good targeted time to do it. So I did it.
So consider me your interviewer. So what did a social media break look like for you? Like literally, like I want you to tell me, like, did you delete apps? Did you just set screen times on them? Or well, no, because that would be not taking a break. Did you just like make it a point to put your phone across the room to like, how did you take the temptation away? And then also, well, you never mind. You already explained why you did it. So I had like questions lined up in my head, and then you just answered one. So what did it literally look like?
I moved my social media apps off of my home screen because I feel like something that I'm prone to is just like the muscle memory of my thumb just like doing whatever it pleases. like I will like click and wake up my phone and unlock it and whatever, and then my thumb just like goes straight to where Instagram is. So I was like, I could anticipate myself breaking the break by accident just by like routinely clicking the button. So I was like, okay, I moved Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter off of my homepage to like not even the second page of my apps, but the third page. So they were all on their own little page and their own little social media island. So they were far from my thumb's reach. So yeah, I put them away, and I don't know, I'm a pretty like disciplined person. Like I'm pretty good at, if I tell myself no, then like I'll stick to it. So
yeah, I'm not that.
Well, I'm not that with certain things, but this I was pretty good about. Like I was like, you can't do it, and they were gone. I wasn't looking at them. The temptation wasn't there. So there wasn't like an adjustment period where I was like, I miss it. Oh, I wish I could be on Instagram right now. And then like I got used to it. It was more like as soon as I started, I was like 100% off the grid.
Did you find yourself using other apps or just doing other things more often?
Well, so that's an interesting thing about when I did it, because I was home with my mom and we watch a lot of TV together and we'll like eat meals together. So like since I was with her, I think it was really easy to just like do whatever she was doing. So like at night when I might be like watching a YouTube video and then it ends and then I just like scroll through Instagram, we were watching like live TV. So I was just like watching that with her.
Was TikTok part of this?
I actually didn't use TikTok pretty much the whole time I was home.
Okay.
But there's like a weird reason for that. And that's just because I don't know if anyone else can relate to this, but I have like a weird thing with like playing stuff out loud on my phone if my parents are around, because it almost feels like weirdly intimate. Like I don't want them to know like the like specific jokes that young people, but I don't know, like I don't want to like have them be like, oh, what's that?
Yeah.
Oh, explain this to me. I just like, I don't know, it's a weird
I
thing.
do, like, when I was home, I like, if I was watching YouTube, at one point we had like a puzzle on a table, and I would like do the puzzle and have my computer there, and I'd be watching YouTube, and I'd put my headphones in because I was like, well, first of all, I didn't want to annoy them because they were like trying to watch TV, but I also just found like, it's like if I'm watching like people talking about makeup, they might be like, I get how it can also like sound from the outside like, so like, what, that this person is like hyped up about like Morphe, like what the heck.
Yeah, you just get so immersed in the digital world that you curate for yourself. And then I feel like that's why it feels so intimate, because it feels like if my parents were to like hear my world, it would like pop a bubble or something.
Yeah, I don't feel like I think that way about TikTok though, because I just feel like they're so short and they're so like and often I don't even know what's going on with TikToks. Like, but I feel that way sort of about like YouTube or about like certain shows I'm watching. Like, I think it's also just me like wanting to be like if I'm watching something, it's like, leave me alone. I want to be alone. I want to watch my show or like whatever.
But yeah. I mean, I'd be curious to like do it again while I'm here, because it's just like a different routine that I'm living here. And I feel like my lifestyle here definitely gives me like more opportunities to go on social media and stuff. So maybe it would be more difficult doing it here, but yeah, really it wasn't that bad, which is good, I think. Like, I think if you attempt a social media break and it's unbearable, that's maybe the time to have an intervention with yourself about possibly being addicted to social media. Because that's kind of like the purpose that a break can serve too, is kind of just like testing out how reliant on it you are. So like, I don't know, the fact that I could take a break and then be like, okay, that was fine, like I could take a break again, is like a good checkpoint to be like, okay, my relationship with social media is healthy.
You know, I wonder though, like I think like people say like, oh, we're all addicted to social media, but I do wonder, like, you know, part of social media for me, like, you know, having like my friends on it and whatnot, like I'm an extrovert, so it fulfills a certain thing there.
Yeah,
that like you as an introvert might be like, oh, I don't feel like I need that.
It's like comforting for me to not have that and be like unplugged from the world.
Yeah, right. Whereas like for me, I'm like, oh, I like that, like I feel like I could go on social media and see my friends and like feel less alone or like whatever. And then the other part of it, when I thought about the extrovert thing, it brought up like another point like that for me where I was like, I wonder if that also plays into it. Now I can't remember what it is.
Well, I remember when I told you that I was taking a break from it.
Yeah, what'd I say?
Well, just I made a point to tell certain people because I didn't want anybody to like message me and then have me not answer and then be like, what the heck? Like, where'd you go?
I would have been hurt and confused.
Yeah, I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. So I told you that I was doing it. And I think you just said,
I'm going to try to go back and find it.
Yeah, I mean, you said that it was a good thing, first of all, but you also said that you you had thought about doing it yourself, but never made a point to do it because there were positive things that you were getting from social media.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good point to make, because like it's never very productive to completely dismiss social media and say like it's all toxic and like you kids are all on your phones and you got your heads buried in your phones and blah blah blah. Like, dismissing it completely, I think, isn't the healthiest way to do it, because there are positive components to social media.
Yeah.
Like communicating with your friends and feeling connected to the outside world, and you know, it's a good cure for like loneliness and isolation.
I also think it can be a great tool for like inspiration.
Yeah.
And just like to find new outlets for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I follow a couple of like journaling accounts, and I don't even bullet journal, but I like seeing what they make.
You might
and, like,
want to someday.
yeah. First of all, shout out to my friend Rachel. My friend Rachel journals and has a bullet journal account. Let me pull that up so I can give them a proper shout out.
I think it might be called Rachel Journals.
Yeah, actually it's called Rachel_journals. So yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, I feel like it's pretty on the nose.
They journal and their handle is that they journal.
They journal and their handle is they journal. Yeah, Rachel_journals. I love watching their like just evolution of a page. And
cool.
Like I'm in awe of how much time they're able to dedicate to this thing that's both like practical but artistic. And I'm not surprised at all, knowing Rachel and how artistic they are and have always been. And yeah, I love that. And then I follow a couple of other journalers who like not just bullet journal, but kind of like collage journal and like paint things, and I like love watching that. So it's like I find it, even if it's not literally me being like I am inspired to now do that myself, it is, although it does make me want to do that, I just like don't but it makes me feel like, ooh, maybe I'm gonna go color right now, or like it makes me want to do something other than creative. It makes me want to get off social media or something. So I think that it's a really cool tool for inspiration for me.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because I think we've talked about in a previous episode how it's important to make sure that the people you're following are diverse, but also that they make you feel healthy about your body.
Yeah.
So that like if anybody that you follow is sort of like pushing toxic thoughts at you or like making you feel negatively about yourself, then maybe it's someone to unfollow.
Yeah, we talked about that in our episode on body confidence.
Yes.
I believe it was number 3.
Yeah, so we've talked about that, but I think you make a good additional point that like social media isn't just about people, it's also about hobbies and interests and aesthetics.
The actual content itself. Yeah.
Like things and places. So I think that's like a great point too, that you should not only follow people that inspire you, but like actions that inspire you almost, or hobbies or looks or colors or whatever.
Yeah, I follow like a collage account. Like they make, not like physical collages, but digital ones. Mm-hmm. So it's like you wouldn't, some of them, it's like you wouldn't actually know that it's a collage. Like it looks like a graphic, but they've layered multiple things on it. And that's really cool for me to see. So yeah, those are all parts of it. I went all the way back in our text conversations, but now I'm confused about where you even say this. Like I'm back at Christmas, but I'm like, were you on? Oh, I found it. Okay, so I said it was December 30th. So you took a break 2 days before.
Yeah, it was a Wednesday, and I think New Year's Eve was a Friday.
Yeah, so you took a break. I was thinking I don't know why I was thinking like the New Year was like the end of it. Like New Year's Eve was like one of the final days of it, but it was actually the beginning. So I said, proud of you for taking time off of social media. I think that'll be great. And I totally feel you on some of the obnoxious rhetoric going around about 2020/2021. I think it's supposed to be funny, but I'm honestly just tired of the jokes. Again, I'm being really honest. I don't blame you one bit for wanting to get some control back over your mind and spirit, and cutting out social media is a great way to do it. Reach out if you feel like chatting. Because I was really feeling how you were feeling in terms of, you had shared like, I'm not in a great headspace going into this next year. And I was like, yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. And I feel like a key word I'm picking up from that text is control, because that tends to be a theme for a lot of people with social media and an unhealthy use of it. Because I think social media can make people feel like they're not in control of their thoughts or actions. Like you can start to feel like maybe you're, doing a certain activity because you want to post a picture of it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I hate that. Yes, I
Or
hate
like,
that in myself.
or you're like watching a show and you're like, oh, I want to share this and show that I'm watching it. Like,
yeah.
so you feel a little out of control of your actions in that way, but then you also can feel out of control of your thoughts because of the way that scrolling through certain things can make you feel.
You know how YouTubers, there's a trend to do like Instagram picks my out, or my Instagram chooses my day.
Yeah.
But like that's like quite literally asking Instagram followers to like choose your outfit, choose your hairstyle, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But they already do that without you knowing.
Yeah.
Or without you
Implicitly,
being like super aware of it.
Yeah.
The other thing is one of the other if we're talking about toxic points of social media now,
Yeah.
I just thought about this. Social media, you know, it's a great tool for keeping you connected, but it keeps you connected to things that you shouldn't stay connected to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am someone who like will check an ex's profile.
Yeah, it's a classic example.
And like it doesn't really do anything for me. Like I just kind of like check to be like, you still alive and being shitty? Like
yeah.
I don't know. Like I know a couple of I'm talking like what's funny is like those are like people that I completely cut out. I have like I have an ex that like I'm on good terms with, and we just like follow each other still on social media.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking about people who like I like dated, but like we weren't official, and I like would still kind of be like, you know, if it ended in a way that felt really raw to me, I would be like, so what are they doing? I wonder if they're having any regrets, and like go check their profile. But like we don't even follow each other. Like I should not be engaging, but it's keeping me connected, and it's giving me the opportunity to connect to someone who I should not be connected to.
Exactly. And someone that you wouldn't feel connected to in any way if not for social media.
Right,
like you
because
wouldn't
otherwise
text them, you wouldn't see them.
Yeah, I would have no interaction.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's like that's really a me problem, because it's a problem of like discipline, I guess. Like you can choose not to do it, but the point is who doesn't do it?
It's temptation.
Like everyone, there's a reason it's a joke to be like, oh, I'm Facebook stalking my ex, or like, oh, like, you know, checking on my ex's new girlfriend. Like there's a reason it's a joke.
Or the opposite end, which like we'll get into dating apps more in a little bit, but like not the end of you had a relationship with someone and are then checking up on them, but the opposite, where like you're talking to someone and you stalk them.
Yeah, and then you already know too much.
Yeah, you know too much, or you like find something you don't like and then you like self-sabotage. So yeah.
Or it's like you find things that you do like, and so you go into it being like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for them to talk to me about this and tell me about this, and then you like actually meet them and you don't have a connection. And you're like, oh crap, but like I already stalked your life and think that you seem great, and so I pictured myself in all your photos, and now I don't know what to do.
Totally.
Yeah, it works. It works both ways. No matter what, it's evil is what I'm getting. But the bullet journals.
Yeah. Well, so since there are some clear pros and cons to it, I think that it's a very viable option to like, if you don't feel like you need to take a complete clean break from it, you can just intentionally decrease your use of social media, which I kind of would compare this to like the rhetoric of like extreme veganism, where there was like a time where people were like, you can't have any animal product, and if you have a single one, the whole earth is doomed and it's your fault.
Yeah.
Whereas like the healthier way to go about that is like, you should just limit it in the way that works for you, and like any amount that you limit animal products is cool and good for the environment.
Yeah, everyone always says like it's better, well, not everyone always says it, but like people say that it's better to have 100 imperfect vegetarians than
whatever math makes sense.
Like I literally don't know where to go from here. Then like 5 perfect vegetarians, or even like I know a lot of people shifted from being like vegan to just being like primarily plant-based, and it's like, so sometimes it's like you will cut things cold turkey and you'll find out that it's not for you. I think I'm like a personality where like I maybe like need a little more middle ground, and less like extremes.
Yeah, but I feel like it's analogous to social media because you don't necessarily have to take a complete break from it if that's not what's going to work for you.
Yeah.
Like it can still be just as beneficial for you to just use it a little less. So
what are some tips?
Yeah. So I've compiled some tips.
I was trying to just segue you there anyway.
I'm naturally transitioning into my tips.
Nice.
So yeah, I already mentioned moving the apps off of your home screen, but I think that's a really major one. 'Cause that's kind of like the less extreme version of deleting them altogether, 'cause they're still there, but they're just not where they always were. Yeah, they're like a little out of reach, so you have to, it forces you to be intentional about using them because you have to like take a different course to reach them. And then the other major thing is like finding replacement activities to do when you're bored. Because like we've talked about how one of the main reasons that social media can feel addicting is because anytime there's like a lag in life, you immediately go to social media to fill the void.
Yeah. Think like a short elevator ride.
Or poop.
Okay, you're bad about that.
I'm so bad about that.
Like
I will poop and then be done and then still be scrolling on TikTok.
I know too. I remember like one time, you can cut this out if you don't want me to say it, but, but I remember one time I was like, I want to go take a shower, whatever. I need to go into the bathroom. I was like, but you were in there for a while. Does it smell? I was like, be honest with me. And you were like, oh no, I just peed. I was just sitting on my phone. I was like, Marissa.
I know.
And I was like avoiding the bathroom thinking like, oh, it's going to be a doozy. And she's like, oh no, I was just sitting on my phone. Like it was my relaxing time. And I was like, okay.
I know. Yeah. I feel like that's a huge one for a lot of people, like taking your phone to the bathroom, which honestly, this is hitting me now. I feel like a good incentive to not do that is that it's kind of gross when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like touching your screen and using the bathroom, like, ew. So
if I bring my phone to the bathroom, like if for some reason I'm so engrossed in something that I want to like continue reading on the can, I lift the lid with my foot so that I won't touch it. And like I'm not like when I'm ready to wipe and whatnot, I like put my phone on the kitchen sink, on the bathroom sink, like because I'm a germaphobe, so like I don't engage in that, and like I'm putting down the seat to flush and then picking it back up to make sure everything flushed. Like I am like very germy funny, so
that's a good incentive to not do it in the bathroom. But yeah, like bathroom is a good one. On the train, like commuting sorts of things. There are just so many like times in life where we get bored when we're not doing anything. And like since you have your phone with you, it always is like a built-in thing to do. But my tip would be to just like have a list of things that you can do instead when you're bored. Like I have a book of word searches that I like to do sometimes. That's a fun one from when you're bored. Because I actually, obviously like reading is a good one too, especially for like the commuting end of things. But like I'm someone who can get headaches easily when I'm like moving, like if I'm driving or
I'll get kind of nauseous.
So I can't really
sometimes.
I can't really read, but doing word searches for some reason doesn't bother me because it's not so many words on a page that like overwhelm my eyes. It's just letters.
Or even honestly, like use your phone, sure, but like put a podcast on and then close your eyes. Like I find that like I put a podcast on and sometimes I have to keep rewinding because I'm on social media and I'm doing something and I'm this person's texting me and then I'm typing things, so I'm not listening. So it's like put the podcast on and sit in stillness and listen to the story being told to you, or like play a game. Like I used to just play a game a lot on my phone when I was like commuting, like when I was doing like T and commuter rail in one day. And it's like, it's you're still using your phone, but it's like instead of like doom scrolling, you're just like playing a game.
And I something that I've found I like to do is crossword puzzles on my phone. There's a particular website of them that I really like. I think it's called like boatloadpuzzles.com. It's just like unlimited crossword puzzles.
It's a boatload of puzzles.
Because the newspaper ones will like only give you a certain amount and then make you like subscribe, like the New York Times and stuff.
Right.
So boatload don't make you pay for nothing. So I like it. And I also feel like that is kind of like a mental exercise too. Not really like in terms of like book smarts.
Not like doing math. But
yeah, but it's like pop
gauging.
culture, like trivia knowledge kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It just like makes you like think.
And it gives you a little boost when you get it right.
Yeah.
So you're like, yeah, that's right. I know something.
Yeah. So like games, crossword puzzles, and then books and anything like puzzle, like maybe Sudoku or whatever, or coloring, stuff like that. But also if you want to just like find something within yourself to do, that doesn't involve like having a book on hand or opening your phone in the first place, you could do any sort of like mindfulness exercise. You could meditate. You could like have a mantra that you repeat to yourself until you believe it.
The entire like train ride, you're like,
I feel at peace.
I am
when everyone's like
am.
crying around you. Yeah, that type of thing. Or you could like make a mental list of things you're grateful for, or like make your grocery list.
You could also, if you really like love to scroll, love to be throwing things the likes, like you like the format of social media, find social medias that are not
Oh my
like,
God. Yes.
other things. So like
Goodreads.
Pinterest and Goodreads.
1, 2, 3. Goodreads.
So like those are the two I was gonna give the examples of. Is like,
Yeah.
you know, I love Pinterest. Pinterest is the least problematic social media platform there is.
I would argue that Goodreads is the least problematic.
Maybe, but I feel like people can get heated about books.
That's very true.
People don't get heated about anything on
That's
Pinterest.
so
It is
true.
all motivational quotes, healthy recipes, 4-ingredient banana breads, paintings, like home decor.
Yeah.
I love, me and my mom have an ongoing conversation on Pinterest, like sending each other, this is what I'm making this week, or
That's
ooh,
cute.
look at this color blue in this home. And you know, it's the least problem. Dogs, I love seeing all the photos of dogs.
Do you want to know what's so funny? I wasn't even like cognizant of this, but I got back into Pinterest during my social media break.
That's
And
because
I think it's literally exactly what you said. Like I was craving like something like that.
yeah,
but
because you
just
can
not
be pinning things and curating things kind
Yeah.
of like you are
Yeah.
on like Instagram. And Instagram is very visually stimulating, but that's what I love about Pinterest.
yeah,
And then
totally.
with Goodreads, it's like, I don't know, Marissa, say something. Say what you like about
It's
Goodreads.
just so-
I use
it's-
Goodreads.
It's just so wholesome. Like I don't know, there's not like a ton.
I don't read books, so
There's not a ton you can do on Goodreads,
you
but
just
like
review your books, right?
yeah, but if you're friends with other people, you can like read you can read their reviews of what they've read.
It's just funny to me that you can go and be like, oh, like my friend read this book. Let's see what they have to say about it. And it's
Right.
like, why do you care what they think about a book that you haven't read yet?
Well, because that's the other thing you can do is like mark things as like want to read.
Ooh!
So like you can like be like, oh, that looks really good. Because sometimes like there are always like books of the moment where like you see the cover floating around everywhere. And you want to know if it's actually good or if it's just like a really pretty, aesthetically pleasing cover. And then if like your bookworm friends who you trust have left good reviews, you're like, okay, this is legit. I can read this too. I don't know. It's wholesome. And I guess you could compare yourself to people there if you were like, damn, this person has read more than me. But it's not the same sort of comparison that you can do on social media with like looks and
you can't
clothes.
compare yourself to anyone on Pinterest because all you can see all you can see what other people are pinning, but that's not like what their house looks like, so you can't even be jealous.
I think you're right, actually, that Pinterest is even less problematic than Goodreads.
My other favorite social media that's kind of not a social media but kind of is, although I could totally see this being toxic. I think on the toxicity scale, it's like Pinterest, Goodreads, and then LinkedIn. Love a good LinkedIn moment. It's like, it feels good to everyone's like, you know, sharing their like professional stories, and people are like, yes, this person's been at their job for 3 years. That's incredible.
Congrats.
And it's like, I don't know. I get inspiration to, you know, redo my resume. I'm like, oh, this website is, you know,
professional.
Yeah.
I'd like to add as an honorable mention scrolling through Venmo.
Oh my God, Venmo might be the least problematic social media.
Does Venmo count as social media?
The way I use it,
me too.
Whenever,
is that weird?
Here's the thing: I don't check Venmo, but when someone, like, if I'm doing a transaction, I will use it like social media. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, but like I don't go on Venmo. Like, I have like a list of, it's like if I've checked like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, it's like then I might go to like Pinterest. Then I'm like going on Poshmark. But like I'm not, but then I'm just to like get rid of my notifications, and then I might be like, I don't think I've ever been like, all right, time to open Venmo. But I could see myself getting there because I do find it riveting when I'm on there.
It's so funny.
And that might be the least problematic, except actually, you know what? Sometimes you see people linking up that you're like, you two talk? I don't like that.
Exactly. You can see who's hanging out with who's paying each other for pizza and beer.
And rent. I see a lot of just like rent.
And electricity.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and then I start comparing our dynamic to their dynamic. I'm like, oh, you know.
How many emojis they use when they charge each other.
Oh, this person's giving this person money for coffee. Oh, okay. You'll see like some cutesy relationship things. You'll be like, get yourself a coffee. You deserve it, babe. And it's like, no one's calling me babe. No one's buying me coffee. So maybe Venmo isn't the least. Okay, we got to move on. But funny, I have derailed us too many times.
Well, no, so it does transition into
dating,
into our dating app break conversation.
Of people not calling me babe.
Yeah, because I had to have that thought when I was on my break of like, what does count as social media? Yeah. Because I finished a book. I finished Little Women, which was, oh my God, so good, by the way. And I wanted to write a Goodreads review, and I was like, does the Goodreads app count as social media? So that forced me to think like, oh, do dating apps count as social media?
Did you find that you were on dating apps more because it was one of the few things you could go on your phone?
No, I was actually on them less, again, because I was home.
Yeah, so you don't want to match with people while you're home.
Yeah, I did use Hinge a little bit because I'm pretty sure that just depends on like what you set as your location instead of like your GPS location.
That really confuses me because then people will say things like, oh, I matched with this person, but they were just like in town. Like, do you remember I matched with this guy from Connecticut, and you remember I told him he looked like a Kennedy?
Yeah.
And he like didn't take it as a compliment, and I was like, the Kennedys are like,
he started saying some weird stuff about like strippers, didn't he?
All of a sudden he like, we had like a very normal conversation, and then all of a sudden it was like, I told him he looked like a Kennedy, and he like went off, and I was like, okay. But he was in Connecticut, and I don't have my parameters set like that, and he was like, well, I was just in Boston. Mm-hmm. But like his thing said like some water something Connecticut. So then I get confused.
That's true.
But I feel like part of the selling point of Hinge is supposed to be, well, maybe that's not the
I mean,
I don't know.
At least with the other ones, I know for sure that it's based on where you actually
changes the location on your profile.
Yeah, so like I didn't use Tinder or Bumble at all, but I think I did use Hinge a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. Is that like what even is the definition of social media? Like, is it just like anything that connects you to other people?
Yeah, I don't know, because when you think about, I mean, not to be dumb, but like the media that is social.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. So like under that umbrella, I think dating apps would be.
So you didn't purposely treat it like it was social media, but you just
no. But I feel like it's almost like a different beast. Like, even if they are considered social media, it's like taking a social media break means something different than like taking a break from dating apps.
I don't think people assume. So if you take one here, do you think you'll take a dating app break at the same time?
Maybe. Only because I feel like I am someone who needs a dating app break.
Yeah, so let's talk about that.
Yeah. Well,
that's where we were going, and then I'm sorry. I'm full of energy, and I don't know why.
I know I am too, but I know why. It's because I Hershey's hearts with strawberry cream in the center.
How are they?
Very sugary.
It probably is because I just like ate dinner, a snack, and dessert all within like the last 2 hours, and also finished off my afternoon. Or I had a cold brew, and then I didn't finish it when I went out to do errands. So I stuck it in the fridge, and then had the rest of it at like 4 o'clock. So
yeah,
I'm tired.
I took my coffee so slow today. I got it at like noon or 12:30, and I didn't finish it until 4 for no reason. So maybe that's why. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I think you have to look inside yourself to
Wait, what are you talking about?
Like how to gauge whether or not you like should include dating apps in your social media or even like take a dating app break period.
Yeah.
I think because like dating and intimacy and love lives are like so personal, it really is very, very subjective. Like, I think it's easier to make statements about social media. Like, if you feel like you can't live without it, or your thumb is moving to it and you don't even want to be on it and scrolling, but you just do anyway, and you can't think of anything else to do. Those are some like general things where it's like you might need a social media break but
yeah,
dating apps are a little harder because it's like, I guess they do have pros and cons in the same way that other apps do. Because on the one hand, especially in a pandemic, it feels like if you're not using it, you're not making any progress, and you're not trying, and you're not, like, basically if you're not leaving the house and you're not on dating apps, that's you accepting that you're not going to meet anyone at that time. Because you physically won't. You can't, unless you're on social media at the time and someone from high school reaches out and says, I think you're beautiful and I want to date you.
I guess someone, that has happened.
Slides into your DMs.
Trust me, it's not what it seems like. Like, it's never the person that like you
want it to be
a crush on, or like, it's not the star of the football team. I just forgot the word for football. I guess like there's a less chance that someone's going to come up to you in the grocery aisle and be like,
yeah,
hey, I just noticed you over at the Scallops or something, when they are like, when you're wearing a mask and you're like, please stay 6 feet away from me.
Right. Because there's like, it already was hard to meet people in person before the pandemic.
Yeah.
But now I've thought this before, that it's like even harder to give visual cues that you're interested in somebody.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, your eyes could show that you're like happy, but I don't know, like you can't smile at someone, you can't, like, you could start talking and try to like talk to them, and they might not even hear you because they don't like see you talking.
Yeah.
And they might
like,
not know it's
headphones.
directed to them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm closed off.
Me too.
In the public.
Yeah, so I feel like that really is, at least personally for me, the hardest part about the concept of taking a dating app break. Because she's flapping her feet. Because I just like, I want to be hoping, I want to be trying, I want to be like, I want to have hope that someone's out there, and like,
sing it louder.
I think it would be really hard for me to take a break from dating apps because I can't accept the fact that I'm not trying to, like, I feel like for as long as I can remember, like, having crushes and liking people, that's always been like a motivation in my life. like, you know, you have your career motivations, you have your, I don't know, personal confidence motivations, you have your home motivations and your financial motivations. And then for me, love life motivation has always been a strong line, or I'm always like thinking about it. I'm always like, how am I going to find my person? Who is it? Where am I going to meet them? How is this going to work? So taking myself off of the dating apps would kind of like put that line on pause for the first time ever in my life.
Well, I'm sure you would still find ways to daydream about it or whatever.
Yeah.
But I guess like
it's hard for me to daydream about someone that doesn't exist.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
So like it's enough for me even if I like just matched with someone that I'm really interested in. And so then I'm like, ooh, like they're so cute. I hope that we have a good conversation and it leads to this and blah, blah, blah. But like if there's not even that person that I've matched with, I'm scrolling through dating apps trying to find them so that I can daydream.
Ugh. So do you personally right now feel like you could use a dating app break? Because we were talking about it. Because I'm on a dating app break right now.
Yeah.
But that's because that's because I just had a breakup. So it's like,
well, yeah, and
I'm just not looking to date.
Yeah, and I said this to you when we were talking about you like not being on them, that I think it's easier to stay off them if you already are than to like be so used to having them and then cut yourself off. Especially for someone like me who admittedly like overuses them. Like I'm sure there are people out there who like forget they exist sometimes, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I'm in the mood to like scroll through people. Like, let me open up a dating app." Whereas like for me, I'm always thinking about it, and I'm always like, "Oh, gotta scroll. Like maybe I'll find my person today."
That's so interesting because I kind of feel like I have sort of an addictive personality. I was saying that to you like yesterday. Like I feel like my whole day revolves around like food, and like I when I'm really into something like food, I kind of like my thought processes like revolve around it. But when I am using dating apps, I do feel like I'll like, unless I'm talking to someone actively, in which case I probably want to move it to text anyway. But unless like a couple people have caught my eye, if I'm just like on them but like I'm not really like that interested in the conversations I'm having, or I'm not really having any conversations at the moment, I will kind of like pick it up, put it down, like I'm kind of bored right now and we're watching a show, or like, I'm in bed and I'm like thinking, and I wonder if I should try to do that. So
I feel like I almost treat it like a part-time job.
Yeah, you treat it like a sport.
Yeah, like I treat it like something that I am obligated to do.
Yeah.
Like I need to like put in my hours of finding love every day. But it's making me realize that like you know how like we've talked about this, like if you have a breakup, you kind of decide like, okay, I need to be okay with being single right now.
Yeah.
I've never made myself have that mindset.
I just had I like that thought, and I want to stay on that thought, but I also just had a thought.
What's your thought?
One, I feel like the thought that I just had was, I wonder how much the media that you consume influences that, because I was telling you, I'm rewatching Private Practice, the spinoff of Grey's, and of course, like it's a Grey's Anatomy spinoff. So it's got a lot of love triangles.
Is it a Shonda show?
It's a Shonda show. It's got a lot of romance things going on. And just watching that alone, like, made me, like, want to be dating. Like, it made me want to, like, feel like, yeah, I want to get dressed up and go on a date. And it made me want to do that. Yeah. When normally I watch a lot of, like, documentaries. I watch a lot of, like, drama show. Like I'll watch Grey's, but, like, Grey's isn't, like, yes, it has romance in it, but it's not like romance in like the sense that it's like feel good romance. It's usually like, I don't know. But like I watch like dramas and mysteries and documentaries, and I listen to true crime, and whereas like you will watch like The Bachelor, Married at First Sight, you'll listen to like, I think so what true. You listen to is like The Bachelor podcast. Like,
yeah, I listen to like podcasts of people who are on The Bachelor.
Yeah, because I've heard those before and been like, oh, like I think that's the podcasts or podcasts about The Bachelor. There might be more than one.
Oh my God.
But like
so
I
many.
don't watch those kinds of shows, so it doesn't like bring it up for me a lot. So like when I'm like listening to true crime, I'm not being like, oh, I wish I could date someone who would kill me. Like
it's not aspirational.
I'm like not thinking about it. Like, but then I realized watching Private Practice when there was like this more like effortless kind of romance going on in one of the storylines, and I was like, oh, that like makes me like wish I was like in a relationship, or wish I was like dating, and like it was summertime and my legs are suddenly shaved and slick and I'm wearing a dress that fits too tight. Like it makes me want to be like dating and like feeling hot and whatever. And I don't feel like that right now because it's January and I'm like actually cuddled up in bed eating chocolate and like whatever. And so I just wonder if a part of that is like the stuff that which is not to say that you should change the things that you're doing, but I just wonder if that's part of the reason why it's easier for me to put them down, because I'm not thinking about it. It's not in my media.
I will say that I never really thought about it much when I was younger because the people on those shows were always so much older than me.
Yeah.
Like when I was a teenager and all the contestants on The Bachelor were in their 20s, I was like, oh, like, yeah, I want to find true love, but I don't have time. When I'm in my 20s. Yeah, like these people are in their 20s and they're still finding it, which I'm a little bit still in that window because like there are a lot of people on the reality shows that I watch that are in like their late 20s. Mm-hmm. So I still have some time before that creeps up on me, but I do think that like when I'm the same age as a lot of the people on those shows, that might be when that starts to kick in, where I'm like, oh, like I'm watching people who are in my place in life finding love, so like I want that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I also just thought about how Valentine's Day is coming up, and that is another time where like you're forced to see content about love.
Yeah.
So honestly, like that, I'm starting to think that maybe that's when I should take a dating app break, is like some week that like includes Valentine's Day or something.
Yeah, well, this is also like the time between, you know, like New Year's and Valentine's Day, I feel like is sometimes like the rush time to like find a Valentine. Like even though that's not really what you're actively doing, but it's sort of like it's this time, like it's cuffing season. You're trying to, if you didn't get cuffed before the holidays, it's like, well, the holidays are over now, so I can focus on just me and stop pretending that my family is everything I'll ever need. And you like want to, you know, get hooked up with someone and then ride off into the summery sunset. And this year you can't do that. Like even if you were to talk to someone, find them, really like them, you probably won't go on a romantic Valentine's Day date with them because of COVID. So it's kind of like, in a way, nice, because it's like, okay, pressure's off.
There's
to
not
anyone.
much to do anyway.
Yeah, but it's also like, okay, well then why don't I just let this go for like until Valentine's Day's over, and so I don't feel crappy about it. Yeah, I mean for me, like, so I'm also, we should probably wrap this up soon.
I know, I set a 60-minute countdown on my Fitbit, but my Fitbit died, so
oh well, we're at like 1 hour and 10 minutes, so sorry to the viewers who like the shorter episodes.
Boo-hoo.
Sorry, just kidding. But you know what? Our last episode was short, and also we took 2 months off. So you know what? You can just turn this off right now if you don't want to listen. But anyway, I'm on a dating app break that's like unintentional, but also kind of it's unintentional in a way that like I was in a relationship, so I wasn't on dating apps, and then like I am healing. I'm healing, okay? So like I'm not gonna get back on them. But now it's kind of like I'm at that point in the breakup phase where I'm sort of like looking to the future. Yeah. Where I'm not like dwelling as much on the past and dwelling on like the actual breakup itself. And we're just thinking about, okay, what's going to happen now? You know, is this person going to end up back in my life? Are we going to, am I going to end up like with someone else? Like when will that someone else happen? Like now I'm just kind of like forward thinking and asking the questions that I've asked my whole life. Like, when is this going to happen? Yeah. What is it that I'm looking for? How am I going to go about finding it? Whatever. Yeah. And I because I'm in that like forward thinking space, might have like normally downloaded a dating app and sort of started putting feelers out there.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do that because I know that I'm definitely like not over my last relationship. And so it's kind of like I don't really feel like putting a Band-Aid on it, especially because the only Band-Aid I could put on it is like talking to other people. And then it's like I know that I'm just going to be comparing them to him, and I can't meet up with them, so I can't like make a genuine connection in person that would then be like, okay, now I'm enjoying this person for this.
There.
Yeah, like now I'm enjoying. This may have started as a distraction, but now I'm enjoying this person for who this person is. Like, it's just gonna stay through texting, and it's gonna stay like me comparing them, and it's gonna stay in like this limbo phase, and that's really not what I'm looking for right now. Like, I have said like I would prefer to like date again when things with COVID are much safer, so that when I do go back into dating, it's like a fun thing. Like, I want like my next date to be like I'm going out to like dinner, or like at least like getting together with them, even if it's not, because I don't know what the future of like dining in and like restaurants is going to look like. But I want to be like, we're actually going on a date, instead of it being like we're going on a FaceTime date and then we're playing it by ear, and then we're like, I want dating to be a fun thing. And so I'm kind of waiting and holding out until it can be a fun thing for me again. And in the meantime, channeling that energy like into me and kind of focusing on what I can do going forward to get rid of some of the negative thoughts that I feel post this breakup.
Yeah, I would just say, as like, I guess a closing thought, that I would suggest like identifying the mindset that you'd like to have, and then seeing if any of these types of breaks or decreases of use of social media or dating apps or whatever would help you reach that mindset.
Yeah.
So for me, like, I'm just thinking this on the fly, but I'm kind of thinking about how like my ideal mindset on like Valentine's Day would be to be like happy being single, and not being like, yes, I'm single, but I'm working on it, or like, but I'm talking to someone, or but I just matched with someone. Like, I want to be happy with being single as a fact, and no ifs, ands, or buts. No
contingency.
No, I'm working on it. No, I want to change it or fix it or whatever. Like, it's not, I don't want to treat it as a problem that needs solving. I just want to treat it as the way that I am and the way that I exist in the world right now. So that's like my ideal mindset, is to like be happy being single. So I do think that taking a dating app break around that time would maybe help me reach that mindset. Yeah. So I think it's probably something I should do.
I would also say to like take stock while you're using these apps. Like, like, what is the overarching feeling that comes up when you're using them? Like, what are you seeing? Do you like what you're seeing? How is it making you feel? Like, when you go out of the app, do you feel yucky or sad or like whatever? So I feel like that's another way to kind of like help you determine, is like not only like what do I want to feel about this, or like how do I want to feel and is this helping me, but literally like, do I feel better or worse after being on it, or like while I'm on it, what are the thoughts that I'm having? Am I having like intrusive negative thoughts, or am I feeling inspired, or am I feeling connected and uplifted?
Or if you're like using it to dissociate and you're not having thoughts at all and you're not comfortable with that, because that's the other part of it, right? That it could become so routine that you're not even intentionally using it and thinking anything about it. You're just kind of like a robot scrolling with your thumb on social media.
Doom scroll.
So like that is kind of another thing to check in with yourself about and see if you're feeling.
Yeah. And if you're like using it for a specific purpose, like if you're going on Twitter to get your news, like maybe think about alternative ways to get your news. Or like if you're going on Instagram for inspiration, maybe think about, okay, Instagram isn't serving me really well. Let me try going to Pinterest, or let me try going to a blog that I really like, or let me try watching videos on bullet journaling on YouTube, or like think about like what it is that maybe keeps you going back to it, and then try to seek those out in other places.
Yeah, and if you're using it to talk to friends, then maybe text them or schedule a FaceTime with them to catch up. Make your real life great.
Count. And yeah. Suddenly we have nothing to say.
I know.
Thanks for listening. I'm really curious. Maybe we'll put like a poll up or something on or one of those quizzes where the answer is like comes up wrong and everyone's always like, there's no wrong answer.
Yeah.
But it's like, what the frick? Instagram, just like give us like a poll up. Anyway,
Yeah.
maybe we'll like put some questions up about like what you guys want to hear, because like just talking about this, like you can obviously tell we have a lot to say, but it made me like you saying like I want to be happy with being single. It made me want to be like, should we do an episode on being single, and can you really be happy as a single person? And
I mean, now that I've said that I might like take a dating app break around Valentine's Day, I kind of want to hold myself accountable, and so like maybe after that time we can do that kind of episode, or I can check in about my break that I hope I have the willpower to take.
Yeah. Like I'm just curious what it is about, either from us specifically or just like topics that are showing up that you're enjoying listening to content about. Like, what are those?
Yeah, or if you personally have like a question yourself, or a problem that you wish more people would talk about and they're not.
Yeah, maybe we should just do like a Q&A again.
Yeah, we haven't done it in a long time.
It's because no one sends us cues. Just kidding.
You're witnessing a board meeting for the podcast.
Oh my god, this is one of our official executive board meetings. This is our Oval Office.
Oh my god.
Thanks for listening. I hope this was nice to listen to. It's a long one, so hopefully you got a lot of work done while you listened to this.
You cooked a nice dinner.
Went on a nice long
made
walk.
Made a craft. Or just sat there. That's fine too.
Yeah, you tried what we said to try, which is just sitting with stillness, listening to your podcast.
Yeah.
All right.
Love you guys.
Have a good week, and we will catch you in the next week.
Smoochy smoochy.